Namaskar, dear learners. A very warm welcome to all of you in the session of Smart Cities. In our previous sessions, you have learnt about smart cities. So, in order to develop or manage these smart cities, the application of smart energy systems takes important role. Why? Because to develop any city or to manage any city, we need energy. In fact, we need energy for our day to day life. So, in smart cities, when we are talking about the energy should be conserved, energy should be converted from such energy resources which are less polluting, or we can say economically friendly. So, we have to develop some smart energy systems. So, in today's session, we will be discussing about the smart energy systems, mainly about the solar energy applications. So, what is smart energy? So, we know that we need energy for our day to day life. We also know that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. So, if we want to use energy smartly, what is the thing that came to our mind is that our devices should be energy efficient. So, smart energy is the method by which we are going to use or we are going to take the help of such devices which are energy efficient. Another thing is that we have to focus on such energy resource or renewable energy resource which is sustainable and less less polluting, that is environmental friendly. So we have to focus on powerful and sustainable renewable energy sources that promote greater respect for the environment, and with that simultaneously it should be economic as well, so that the cost should be reduced. So this word smart energy or smart energy system, it has been recently introduced to broaden the notion of smart grid. And what is a smart grid? A smart grid generally focuses on the electrical sector or electrical utility of anything. So, generally, when we talk about energy and we count our daily energy needs, so the basically we use energy in the form of electricity mostly in our homes, or secondary we use it for heating or cooling purposes. So when we talk about a smart grid, it only focus on electrical sector, but when we talk about a smart energy system, it focuses on smart energy grids also, and it covers heating and coolings of the building, illumination of the building, that is lighting of the buildings, and it covers the transportation as well. So when we talk about the smart energy systems, we are generally focusing on heating and cooling devices, which we can go for direct cooling also or direct heating also, for which generally we take application of solar photovoltaic. When we talk about transportation sector, then what we have to do, we have to replace our fossil fuels that we are using, for example petrol, diesel, by biofuels. And what are the biofuels? Biofuels are the fuels which are having similar properties that is that is there in the fossil fuel, but the origin of these are either organic waste or from the organic oils or from the plants or from the seeds and flowers of the plants, or even from the municipal waste. So here when we focus on smart energy system, it is basically either for heating or cooling, or for lighting or illuminance, or for transportation sector. Today we are focusing on heating, cooling and illuminance, for which we are focusing on the solar panels basically. So it is, if we define smart energy, it is the effective use of energy through enhanced design or highly efficient technology, and side by side we have to conserve energy also. In almost all of my lecture, I generally focus on the conservation of energy. Why? Because energy conservation is very, very important. If we are going to generate energy, and suppose if you are going to generate 1 kilowatt energy, and if you are saving 1 kilowatt of energy, saving 1 kilowatt of energy is more important. Why? Because when we generate 1 kilowatt of energy, and when we transmit it or distribute it for the end use, some of the losses are there while transmission and distribution. But when we save 1 kilowatt of energy, these transmission and distribution losses are not there. Secondly, even if we are generating this electricity from the renewable energy sources, then also somewhere some kind of pollution is there. Why? Because if we are making solar panels, or if we are making solar cells, generators, turbines, etc., there is a loss, or you can say it is not that much environmental friendly way to make or to produce any product. So some environmental losses are there also. So if you are saving 1 kilowatt of energy, it is more important than generating 1 kilowatt of energy. So energy conservation plays an important role when we talk about smart energy systems, or even we talk about smart peoples, how they are going to conserve energy in their home by adopting energy conservation measures, or by switching on to such tools or such devices which are helping us in conserving energy. They could be star rated appliances, they could be energy efficient appliances. So if we talk about the smart energy, the definition is that we are switching towards the high efficient technology, we are switching toward the conservation, as well as we are using the clean sources of renewable energy. What do you mean by clean renewable energy sources? The energy resources which are less polluting or environmental friendly. For example, solar energy, wind energy, we can go for them. So if we are going to generate power or heat in the case of heating and cooling, or if we are talking about the transportation fuels even, we have to switch towards the clean and renewable energy sources. Now if we talk about solar energy, what is solar energy? Solar energy is the energy that we are getting through the radiations of the sun. Solar means sun. So generally the technology that came to our mind is solar PV. Though solar thermal technologies are there also, but primarily we are seeing everywhere solar PV modules. So today we are discussing about solar energy through solar PV. So the modern solar cell, which is shown here in the figure as well, this is known as solar cell photovoltaics. What is solar cell? It is a device which directly converts sunlight into electricity. So here when radiation of the sun is incident here, it is directly converted into the electricity. This solar photovoltaic energy may be used to power mini grids as well, which is a very wonderful method to supply electricity to those who do not live near power lines. Nowadays, if you will focus on the northeastern states of India, which were deprived of the electricity, what government is doing? Standalone solar-based thermal plants are there, and the energy is generated there, and they are used to illuminate the houses. And many of the survey and many of the research studies show that it has improved their way of living there. Why? Because they are getting light in day and night as well. So here the question comes that if the solar energy is available in the day, how they are getting light in the evening? So in that case, what we do, we use batteries to save energy, and then in the absence of solar radiation or in night time, what happens? They utilize these energy. So solar panels are becoming more economical as well, because the life of solar panels are about 30 years. So once if you invest there, what happens? After an investment, their payback period is for 5 to 10 years. Initial investment is high, but as their life is 30 years, So for the long term investment, it is better to generate power from solar PV modules. Now, if we talk about solar panel or solar module, what it is? It is a component of photovoltaic system. Now, number of cells are arranged in series and they make a panel, and this is known as solar panels or PV panels. So, number of PV cells are arranged in a series and we call it as a panel. These panels came in various rectangular shapes and are installed in combination to generate electricity as shown here. Now, if we have solar panels here, from these solar panels, the energy from the sun is collected, or the energy from the sun in the form of solar radiation or sunlight is collected here, and it is converted into the electricity which can be used to power our either for buildings or for industries, anywhere we can use. Apart from it, number of solar floating panels are there. What is the concept of solar floating panels? We call them photovoltaics as well. These are the panels which are connected to such a body which is floating on the water. And there are many benefits and challenges of these solar floating water. First thing is that if we talk about the benefits, so benefits are that reduction in evaporation losses. Why? Because they are near water. Ease of deployment is there. We don't need land, because if you talk about the installation of these solar panels or solar photovoltaic panels, what happens? We need large land area, and if the land area is waste or something like that, then you can use it. But it is not necessary that the land which is of no use has more radiation. But here, when we go for the water resources, there we can get the land which is of no use. So land is not required here, only we are constructing it on the water bodies. So you can target any lake or any pond, or even we can construct it nearby the seas as well, where the tides are less available. We can focus those areas, and there we have to install a floating device, and on that floating device we have to place these solar panels. So these are some of the advantages of these solar photovoltaic panels. Now, what are the limitations of these kind of photovoltaic panels? The first thing is that monitoring of these systems are really not possible. Then second thing is some environmental impact from light reduction is there. You can see here the maintenance of such thing is also very difficult, because if you talk about the maintenance person, he should know swimming and how to survive in the water, he should know, and apart from that he should know about the maintenance of the solar panels as well. So getting these kind of maintenance experts is we have least chance of getting such maintenance experts. Another benefit is that there is synergy with electric infrastructure. So in the coastal areas or in the areas where we are not able to supply electricity through the regular means, then there we can utilize these solar photovoltaics. Then another thing is that the advantage is that these are highly efficient panels. Why? Because these solar panels are made durable to operate at high temperatures, and the higher temperatures result in decreased power output, general solar panels. And here what happens, because evaporation losses are less, so the efficiency increases. Then bodies of water that are housed for floating solar panels help to cool these solar systems. So we do not have to give power for cooling down of these solar equipments. It is an automatic process here. Some environmental benefits are also there. because it helps in reducing the formation of algae in fresh water. By why? Because there is a floating device which helps to move the water, and if the water is moving, the formation of algae is not there. So, and this algae is very dangerous for the human health also, and it is even responsible for the death of the aquatic life that is available there in the sea or lake. So, it can help in that way as well. If we talk about the cost, and if we compare the cost of a photovoltaic and normal solar photovoltaic panels, so if we talk about the installation cost, the expenditure for solar photovoltaics is very high. And as it is a new technology, it requires skilled knowledge for the installation also and maintenance also. So that is also costly. Now, applications of these solar photovoltaics systems. As these systems don't work for everyone, the vast majority of floating solar systems are providing power to utility companies, big towns, enterprises, and municipalities. And if we are looking for solar power for our home, then it is better to install a roof or the ground mounted solar PV panels rather than these photovoltaics. If we want to invest in floating solar, we often have access to a large body of water to install at least hundreds or thousands of solar panels, which is not possible for a private body. Unlike these types of installation, the average residential solar panel system has around 20 panels. So, installation companies and developers who install floating solar projects today are not doing on small scale installations. Now comes the concentrated solar power plant. So, we call them CSP also, and in this CSP we use mirrors. You can see here in the picture there are many mirrors, and we call these mirrors heliostates also. So, the ray from this sun is concentrated here in these mirrors, okay, and then these rays are collected in the receiver, and then it is used to heat the water or to produce the water, to produce the steam from the water, and then this steam is utilized by the turbine, and then it is used to generate electricity. One of the main advantage of a CSP or concentrated solar power plant is that it can be fitted with molten salts also. Why we use molten salts? In molten salts, we actually capture the heat, or we store the heat which is generated here, and then after sunset, when solar energy is not available, we can utilize the energy that is stored or captured in the molten salts. Now, if we talk about the solar energy applications in smart cities, in our previous session, one of our experts has already discussed about the smart cities and what is the plan of the smart cities, how we are going to develop smart cities. About transportation sector also they have discussed, and in this session we are discussing about the smart energy system of smart cities. So the master plan for smart cities generally include both in-city and off-site power generation system. When it comes to off-site infrastructure, generally 100 gigawatt solar roadmap was given for 2022, and this 20 gigawatt of power generation was through solar farms. And now an additional 10 gigawatt will be implemented with the help of the farmers. Now our mission in the smart towns is to receive massive priority with over 40 gigawatt by rooftop solar power plants. So nowadays all the government agencies or organizations are focusing on these rooftop solar power plants, and almost in every organization you will find one building in which they have installed solar rooftop power plants. Why? They are easy to install, they are easy to maintain, and many subsidies are also given. So initial capital cost, which is high in these cases, has been minimized due to the subsidies. And if we talk about the payback period, suppose installation cost is more, but when we are saving the electricity, that is more than that we have invested. So almost within 5 years we get the payback period of these solar power plants which are of rooftop types. Apart from this, the government is also encouraging these things and making compulsory for all the officials or all the sectors which are depending upon the government, either funded by the government or central government or state government. They are focusing for the renewable energy resources. So in order to increase or promote these, many schemes of governments are available there. Apart from this, the proliferation of solar PV systems worldwide has also dramatically reduced the prices of solar panels. We are getting solar panels from other countries as well, which are cheaper than that were available earlier. Now, the use of solar panel on the roof for the home is not limited to water heaters. People are using it for the other purposes as well. Many of the countries are utilizing these for their day-to-day work as well, apart from heating and cooling and illuminance. Now, more than 16 states in our country have already put in the place policies to increase the use of solar energies. Now comes the off-grid and on-grid. In our country, we are utilizing off-grid and on-grid, both kind of solar energies. What are these off-grid and on-grid solar energy? When we talk about the off-grid, that is, we have installed a solar panel in our house and we are capturing the power that is made from this solar panel in an inverter, and with the help of inverter we are using it in our day-to-day uses, and the part of the energy that is not utilized, we capture it in a battery bank or we store it in a battery bank, and then we can utilize it later. And what we have to go for some backup also, because if sun is not there and we are not, because the battery bank that we are using is of very low power, so if it is not there, then we have to think about some backup plans also. So generally the people have electricity connection from the electricity boards, and some part of their usage they are taking electricity from that thing, and some part they are taking from the solar panel. Alternatively, if we talk about such places which are remotely located and there is no electricity, then what they do, they have to go for some generator and all for their backup purpose. And what is on-grid? For on-grid, whatever supply we are having, we have to give it to the utility sector as well, the utility grid as well. So suppose we have solar panel in our rooftop, we have generated electricity stored in the inverter, and some part we have utilized in our home, and the part that is left we give it to the utility grid. And from utility grid, either you can take money, whatever surplus power you have given. Suppose 10 units you are taking from the utility grid and 30 units you are giving. So utility grid may give you 20 money of the cost of the 20 units that was surplus, or you can take that you are supplying 20 unit nowadays, and after sometimes you will be getting it from the utility grid. So both the things are there. So this is how the off-grid and on-grid power plants, off-grid and on-grid application of solar plant is there. So both are available in India and both are easy and simple. The installations is also very simple. Then if we talk about the solar energy applications in smart cities of India, one is in Gujarat, which is known as GIFT, Gujarat International Finance Tech City. It is a Gujarat government sponsored joint venture commercial area, and it is India's first smart city also. This city has a district cooling system, and underground utility tunnel is there, and automated vacuum trash collection system is there, among other things. So this city is designed for walking and includes commercial and residential complexes as well. The project is located on the bank of the Sabarmati River and is approximately 12 kilometers from the Gandhinagar airport. A dual corridor metro system is also planned to connect GIFT City with the airport and various parts of Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar. They are utilizing solar energy application there. Another is Diu. In 2018, this Diu has become the first union territory which has operated 100% on solar energy as part of the Smart Cities mission. And through the use of solar power plants, 13 megawatt of solar capacity was installed here in just 3 years, and 9 megawatt solar park, which was spread over 50 hectares, is now in the city's lifeline, and the 22,000 inhabitants of Diu benefit from the economic advantages of solar energy with a 15% reduction in the electricity prices. If we talk about ecologically, the success is even more worthy of celebration as the city now saves 13,000 tons of carbon emissions each year. Because if we generate this much electricity by coal-fueled power plants or something else, the environmental will get more carbon dioxide equivalent. So, like these, some more smart cities are planned which are pushing towards the solar projects. Then the solar street lights are also a part of solar projects which are included in the smart cities. Generally, the solar lights will take the power from the solar energy, and this is how a smart city will be working on solar based power generation. So this is all about solar energy that is utilized in smart energy systems in smart cities. Thank you very much.